Welcome. Are you the rich man, the rich person, the opulent person, or are you the beggar? There we're looking towards Lebanon. I imagine that the people in Lebanon can see exactly those clouds. And that's about the brightest spot we have today. Although there's another bright spot here where you can see Syria. Sorry for the speed here. There we go. So you see this palm tree right here in our grounds. And then just beyond there, you see that bright spot. And you see a protrusion here in the very center of the screen, just left of the palm tree. That's in Syria. And these are the two brightest spots in the last 20 minutes here. In Syria and Lebanon, two countries that are suffering immensely. And they have the two brightest spots for us right now on the sky. The sun is going to rise further south. Or it's already risen for sure, but there's so much cloud. There was no point starting earlier. In fact, that spot there over Lebanon was actually much brighter and more beautiful. I took a picture of it, and I took it after I posted the one to your WhatsApp group now to alert you for the start of this little stroll and chat. And I was weighing up whether to go walking a long distance or not, and I saw some clouds coming in here, and it's already raining. Probably in Wadi Hammam, they're already getting some rain right behind Mount Arbel. You can see it here coming in. Actually, those are houses just on the edge of Wadi Hammam that you can notice there. A Muslim town. And in the Jewish town, you can see it here. Go slowly here, people. This is our Magdala coming along. 1 second here. There we go. So there's Magdala, Jewish town. And there are already little drops now. And I started an extra minute or two late because I wanted to open up the front door of Duke and Altum to head in for more shelter if the rain really comes. It's not predicted right now on the forecast, although it was predicted to have very heavy rain yesterday evening at this time. And now we have a brighter spot here where the sun should be rising, or is risen, but we don't see it. People, I'm going to go to a dry spot because it's already beginning to rain, and it's definitely going to rain more, so there's no need to get wet. And we can do this from inside. So I'm thankful now I didn't go walking. If I had started 15 minutes earlier going walking, I'd probably have gone. And that wouldn't be a good idea. It's amazing how we find little details of guidance on our path so often on what to do. We hope to open the guest house in a couple of weeks. It's all a precarious situation still, obviously. And here we have this beautiful mosaic, but I'm going in today. You can see more about the mosaic on the website magdala.org. You can actually become part of the mosaic. It's an expression of the Magdala family. And here, I love this architecture here, the way these arches open up to the outside. Opening up to the outside, that's a big theme today for us. Lazarus, the poor devil, and the rich guy who's feasting. Opening up to the outside. Opening up to all those who are outside. And they have sores and they're hungry. How it's good for us to open up to the outside. Soter is a little frustrated because 15 minutes ago she expected that we were going walking and she came back and barked at me a couple of times. And there we have some blue sky. Hey, let's peep out through Duke and Alton. Is the rain stopped? You know, with slight variations of wind, which is very light at the moment, it can bring a cloud to skirt us instead of drenching us. So let's go over here. And I just love it outdoors, actually. I have a preference to be outdoors. This is part of the stroll and chat, you know, to be outdoors in nature. So let's ring the bell for you. I imagine you'd like that. Come on, bell, start ringing. Well, it's actually still drizzling. It's not too much yet, but we can keep an eye on the outside from inside. Come on, little doggy. Duc in altum, go out into the deep. That's what's written here. Go out into the deep. This is constantly being requested of us, really. So we're going to go in here. So I'm going to turn on some light so you can appreciate this space a little better. And that means I'm going to abandon you for about half a minute. I'm going into the sacristy here to get to the switches. And then you can see what happens now in a moment. So I'm back. Just a second here. Some people are praying, so I don't want to interrupt them. Just fixing my microphone here. Okie doke. here we have the famous line, Talita Kumi, little girl, get up. Oops, sorry about that. Each of these 4 chapels have 160,000 piece mosaic of Murano glass. And it's amazing the gift they have been to already hundreds of thousands of people. The inspiration, the detailed work of this wonderful artist, Maria Jesus Fernandez, and the beautiful inspiration of the stories of the gospel. And Jesus raises this dead girl, 12 years old, to life and gives her back to her parents. You know, I'm thinking a lot, who is the rich man? And who is Lazarus? And which one are you? Amazing mosaic. I want to leave you with the question. I really don't want to talk too much. I'd like to leave you with the question, who is the rich man who's feasting, and who is Lazarus? You know, I had a new thought about that today, early this morning, maybe around 4 o'clock. Sometimes you wake up. Soda wasn't barking this morning, but very often she's barking early in the morning. So that gets us waking up early. But I think she wants to start the stroll and chat early, you know. So who is the rich person and who is Lazarus? Have you thought about that? And I think that the normal first impression that we all have is that this is understood in a very material way, and it's absolutely true and correct to interpret it like that, no question about it. And who is the rich person and who is Lazarus? But maybe there are many other ways to see it. You know, these parables are so rich, are so open. And again, the social justice theme is amazing and powerful and poignant and real. And even the other thoughts are also really social justice, because social justice means giving justice to all those around us in society. And who are the rich ones and who are the poor ones? And the thought came to me today, really, that, and maybe other people have thought about it before for sure, you know, and written about it, and that I'm just not aware of who that might be right now. But maybe the rich one is actually God. But he behaves very differently than the rich man in the parable. And he's the one who becomes incarnate. And so we're in our pilgrimage. God is not indifferent to our need And much of our need is often self-inflicted. Not taking care of our health, or Cain killing Abel. And you know, both in Lebanon and Syria, those two neighboring countries here, there were farmers here in Magdala who took their oranges and lemons and went to Beirut to sell them one day, and the next day they went to Damascus to sell them, and then they went to Jerusalem to sell them. You know, it's really neighbors, you know. Totally viable markets there in the 20th century. This was going on. And then the borders got all closed and, you know, all this trouble, conflict, violence. Who are the rich and who are the poor? And just like we have the Good Samaritan going down on the road, and the man who was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho fell among robbers. And he was beaten up, and the Good Samaritan takes care of him. One very valid interpretation of that is the Good Samaritan is Jesus, and the man who went down and fell among robbers is humanity. And one interpretation of the robbers is the evil spirits. And evil spirits, hey, look at that guy on the screen here, in the mirror, reflected. You see the person there walking in the mirror, reflected? This is a nice game, isn't it? With this glass partition between the women's atrium and the boat altar chapel. And it's providing 4 mirror images because of the angles of the 4 pieces of the glass partition. And it's providing this mirror effect of the boat altar. The Instagram I did on this in the last week sometime, or I forget exactly what day it was, it really got so many views. It must be intriguing, and I'm intrigued by it myself. Sometimes I'm celebrating Mass and all the people are sitting here, and that's the view I have. They think I have my back to the lake, but I see the lake 4 times simultaneously. So who is Lazarus and who is the rich guy? And could it be God himself? And he does leave heaven. He does leave his palace. He does leave his meal. In fact, there's a famous hymn. Actually, I think it's a psalm, but it's read from a Christian perspective as an insight to Christ. And he leaves his bridal chamber. He leaves his marriage chamber to go to rescue the needy. He leaves the fullness of life, experience of life, indulgence and delights, to go to save, to rescue, and to die on the cross for us. This is absolutely, sorry about that. This is absolutely amazing, you know. And you could apply it culturally as well. How many people are very wealthy culturally? They have studied so much, they know so much. And so many people can't read or write. And that great learned person is capable of sitting down with a child and teaching them the alphabet. And we could see it also in a moral order, you know, people who are in a very tough situation and are very exposed to substance abuse, and somebody who is in a very healthy society in that regard goes to serve them. There's a famous proverb, metaphysical proverb, about being. You know, there are the 4 transcendents: truth and goodness and unity and being, the 4 classical transcendentals. And one of the principles about goodness is self-diffusing. It shares, it goes out, it gives. The nature of goodness is to give itself. It spreads itself, it shares itself. And that's the problem of the rich guy in the parable, is that he doesn't share himself, because at his doorstep is the poor man Lazarus. Interestingly, Lazarus has a name, a personal name, Lazarus, which is also a very, very loaded name in meaning. Eliezer, my God, helps. That's his name. So Lazarus means, it comes from my God helps. And sure enough, in the parable concludes with God giving Lazarus a fullness of eternal joy. And the poor rich guy ends up completely impoverished because he didn't share his goodness. What an incredible parable. How brilliant. There's so much light there, more than a sunrise in the dark, that our world needs so powerfully. We all need it. Remember, there are also those lines in the gospel that fit there perfectly. To lose your life in order to gain it. And the one who holds on to their life and doesn't share it loses it. And what good is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul, lose yourself? And the poor rich guy actually becomes terribly poor because he loses himself. He loses his own identity as a brother, as a neighbor, as a benefactor. He doesn't fulfill any of these as a human being made in the image and likeness of God, who shares goodness always. That little beeper there is from this instrument down here, this pump or whatever it is, electrical installation. And we have flooding here, so from all the rain. So we have to pump out the water. In order to conserve the archaeology. We're just standing at the first century port. Imagine all the boats coming in from the Sea of Galilee here, loaded with fish. And Grandpa and the uncle are there, you know, and the little grandchildren, nephews. Maybe the nieces were there, but we can be sure back in the day the boys were there. And they're here playing with their friends. And then a few years later, they're young men, and Jesus meets them and says, "Come follow me," from the heart of our lives. Oh, there's a bit of sun coming out. Was it yesterday or another day? No, yesterday we had a great sunrise. Another day it was, I think. And or 2 days ago we had a great sunrise. I forget yesterday how it was. But one day there was no sunrise at all. And then just as it finished, the sun came through the cloud like up there, and it poured down this beautiful light on the lake, a shaft of light. So it has stopped raining, but I think also our time is is maturing, right? Maybe we still have some moments. So, who are you? Are you Lazarus, the poor guy? And I think we can all say yes, because we need God so much, otherwise we would fall apart. This glass effect is amazing in these windows. And when the sunlight comes through, it's also amazing. I must do a live stream someday when the sun is pouring in through this glass. It's a type of, it's not frosted, but there's some technique that Maria Jesus Fernandez applied here. And it has a very creative effect all the time, because the light is changing the patterns on the floor, on the walls. And here we have the 7 breads in the basket. And we're looking across the miracle on the other side, where Jesus fed the thousands with the 7 loaves and some fish, a second bread miracle. And so we remember that miracle here. Actually, afterwards it says that they rowed to the other side. Jesus told them, row to the other side. So we don't know if they came in here to this boat, but into this harbor, but we do know that about this miracle. So it inspires us. Again, it's another story that really counters the rich man and Lazarus parable, because it's possible to share what we've been given. And Jesus didn't have the 7 loaves. That was somebody with him had. One of his disciples had the 7 loaves and some fish. And that disciple decided to give them to Jesus. And then, on doing that, they became the food for thousands. Imagine a degree you have studied, experience you have in life, and your life can become a blessing for thousands. And maybe for more, for millions. Because if thousands are blessed today, that goodness will go to their children and their grandchildren, that gratitude, that sense of being blessed. And so it's millions. Your life can impact and bless millions. And then there will not be a big chasm in eternity between you and all the poor, all the needy. Yeah, the drizzle has finished. The best way to control that is just to watch the water, and there isn't a single drop falling on it, so Soter is happy, her tail is wagging, she wants to go walking. But the time is up, Soter, we won't have much time for walking. There, the rain has gone over there now. And there's the boat out in the lake, behind that tree. You can hear the birds. And there's a shaft of light. Look at that. A shaft of light for you. So I imagine we all have a prayer in our heart this morning, a desire, a wish. Lord, help me to recognize how needy I am and how I need you, how I need my family, how I need those around me, the medical staffs, the researchers, the teachers, the professors, the universities, the media, all the different outreaches and services that exist, the gas stations, everything that makes it happen, you know. Our priest the other day had a flat tire, and they were so blessed by some Muslims in Haifa, and they were helped, and they offered to give some payment, and it was actually just near a gas station, and they said, no, thank you very much, we're happy to help you. You know, that ability to share. And sometimes we find sharing in people that we'd least expect, and we judge them, and we maybe even condemn them, and there's so much charity flowing there, so much goodness, so much readiness to serve. So people, I think that's been a beautiful morning, given everything and all the circumstances and the powerful message of the gospel. And it's dry again. So we'll head over to Instagram, to all our friends on Instagram, to say hello to them and share the bounty here. And are you Lazarus, or are you the rich guy? So you see how you're going to fulfill both dimensions today, okay? God bless you. See you later, alligators. It was great to have you this morning.